I'm Jason Wamskans. I'm a photojournalist for the Chicago Tribune. I think the artistic aspects of what I do, it's not something that I really have control over. It's more just my voice. It's the way I see things and the way I interpret things. It's just the way I interact with the world. So I think it sometimes does lend a different feel to the subject matter I'm photographing. But I try and I want to be sure that the essence of the pictures I take are just based in truth. This reporting's been over a 5-year period. So through the course of the reporting, I've developed a deeper understanding of the issues and met more people. We now know a wide variety of people in these communities and know them pretty well. So it's inevitable that the storytelling will get deeper and more intimate, which is a goal that we're always pushing. So these are huge, complex issues. These are issues that are based in forces that have been at play in these neighborhoods for generations and generations. So it would be incredibly naive for me to think that I would be able to solve or figure out these issues with some photographs. But the thing that the photographs can do is tell somebody's story in an intimate way that becomes relatable to people from a different community, and hopefully creates a level of understanding about the people who are caught in this cycle of violence. At the same time, it's important not to just define these communities by these violent acts. As the newspaper has changed, the amount of stories we can tell it feels like it's diminished. So it's a challenge to present other sides of these neighborhoods and not just the violence. One of the things I'm always looking for are possible solutions, is in presenting people responding to these acts in a positive way. So at this point, we have a pretty good understanding of the way this stuff works. We understand the neighborhoods and the conflicts in a pretty deep way. The part of getting there, we have that figured out. It's now like, what aspects of this story do we want to portray? If we can hit on different facets of this issue, that's an important thing. But fundamentally, the goal is to just tell personal stories about people that are affected by this, people who are caught in this. So when we approach people, when we approach potential subjects, we're very upfront about what our motivations are and what the expectations are for the work we're looking to do. We allow people to interview us. That's an important part of the process. And we're just very honest and respectful. And more often than not, when people are approached in that way, they want to share their story when they trust us to tell it. So that's critical. That's everything, is gaining the trust of the subjects in a clear, honest way. These situations are always different, so it can vary between getting the trust of somebody in a very quick duration of time, in seconds, and it could be based on unspoken communication, just having them acknowledge me in a way that I feel is their approval for me to continue documenting an intimate situation. So it can vary between that and, we've had stories that I've spent 2 years to get access to, of just spending time with people until they trusted us to tell their story. So there's a broad range in between. These stories are always different, and it's a whole different variety of skills that we employ to get access. Mostly I love telling stories that show something different, something that I've never seen before. It's fairly often that we encounter things both positive and negatives. I'm always looking for something I've never seen visually. Just the excitement of experiencing something new in parts of the world that you might take for granted. So the thing that excites me the most photographically is when I'm able to portray something new, whether it's something that I've never seen before or when I can show something that's common and banal in a way that's never been seen or photographed before. There is something about a still photograph that I think is just, it's the most direct medium for communicating human emotion in a visual way. I know for me, in my job now, we're required to do a lot of video, and it can be an enjoyable process. It can be a good storytelling tool, but I know that my most articulate voice is the still photograph. So that's the thing it remains the truest form for me. So photographing the subject matter, it's obviously difficult. It's partially intended to be difficult to share this unpleasantness with the readers. Hopefully they can experience what these situations were actually like. But to effectively communicate that unpleasantness, the photographer has to absorb that unpleasantness to translate it back in a visual way through the camera. So it is difficult, and it does have a cumulative effect. So I try and have other projects I can work on to serve maybe a therapeutic purpose. I photograph a lot of food for the newspaper. I get a lot of nature assignments, and it helps. I don't think that part of it is necessarily that essential. The idea of whether the journalist has made theirself part of the community, or if they're quickly approaching it from as an outsider, is that important? It's more just the level of understanding and fairness that you can bring to the situation. I'm like a translator, hopefully the work speaks through itself, is empowering the subjects to tell their stories. Hopefully it's the people in the pictures telling their stories, and I was just the camera that facilitated that.